today's topic is very, very unique. We generally talk about kindness, practicing kindness, and we talk about doing it with others. So today you're going to help us and our viewers and possibly a lot of people as to why it is important to be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sunindita. Thank you to Munmun as well for having me to have this kind of discussion. And it's wonderful to get back after more than 10 years. I remember more than 10 years back, we were together in a Quest mall. And I remember you looking at me and asking me, why are you so composed, from where it's coming? And at that point of time, I was unable to answer because a lot of internal dialogue was on. But then today we have come full circle, to talk about something which is very close to my heart. And another occasion, I think I remember you, showing up when my husband was in the hospital. I think we had a very great big presentation with managing director and zonal head, everyone. And I knew that everyone was busy, so I did not encourage anyone to visit. But then I, found that suddenly you showed up. I think that is very kind and it's a very warm gesture. So that itself is also kindness, and that's exactly the reason why I bring it up. So thank you. It's lovely to get back in this manner, not as colleagues, not as as someone working back to back, deadline to deadline, but in this manner. So that's great. Talking
Yeah,
about
so
something
it's
close to our
very,
hearts. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
We
it's a
can.
very kind collab. It's a very, very kind collab. As you mentioned very nicely about what you liked about certain things that I have impacted in your life, I also wanted to add that, it is the effect of various people in our lives, okay, which, which becomes a part of our lives, and hence you behave a certain way. So thank you for respecting that. So coming on to the first question, okay. Before I ask you the first question, I just want to give you a small scenario, okay. So there is a single mother, okay. She has two kids, and she's working full time, looking after her job, looking after her family, and in the process, what happens is she does not have a lot of time for herself. It's a very challenging situation. So one day, what happens? She snaps, she breaks, she feels very overwhelmed, and she breaks. So her manager, who also happens to be her friend, asks her, like, if the way you have behaved, if this was happening to someone very close to you, okay, how would you have reacted? So my first question to you, sorry, before I ask the question, that one question helped her open the eyes and realize that it is very important as to how we treat others, okay? That not only affects the others, but also your own self. So my first question to you is self-kindness same as self-compassion? Why do people confuse it with it being selfish? And if you could share some tips, if people want to practice self kindness, what are those things that they can start? Self kindness or self compassion.
Right. Self kindness and self compassion are very closely related, but not the same. Of course, self kindness plays a very important core component in the self compassion, and both self kindness and self compassion promotes emotional resilience, and it embraces warmth and understanding to oneself. But when you talk about self kindness, it's more towards being more forgiving, more gentle to yourself in hard times, which you played out on a day-to-day basis. On the other hand, when you talk about self-compassion is much more broader. In a sense, self-compassion is how you are feeling and your internal experiences.
Okay.
So it's, if I have to put it this way, that if self-kindness is more on the on a daily basis. For instance, if I may give this example of mine, a few days back, just to make it very clear of what I intend to say. A few days back, I have this my son who had school in the morning, and then as everyday regular activity, had to pack the tiffin, everything ready. But somehow we were very occupied and busy somewhere, and he missed out having his breakfast. And after he left,
Okay.
I felt so guilty. I felt so bad, and it troubled me for a while. Uh, and I felt that, this troubling thing, nagging thing which was on my mind was not going away. So I took aside some time, prayed for my son. And then, after that, I felt relieved. And I also felt that, I also myself telling myself that it's okay. I think all parents, we are not perfect, and we're only trying to work out. And he missed out one breakfast, and I forgive myself. I think it's fine. So I embrace myself in a more gentle way in this circumstances. So that is more of on a daily basis of the decisions that you make. But then I was not self-critical in that scenario. So that
Okay.
is self-kindness. On the other hand, self-compassion is um, more of that shared human suffering,
Okay.
that suffering is universal, and everyone goes through at some point in life. Yet it's also a mental awareness of your emotion, your feeling, labeling it, so that, and accepting it.
Yeah, I was
So
telling
that,
that it is more of acceptance.
right. So it's more of accepting it and working through. I think self compassion is more of a very intense work, which doesn't happen in a day or two, but over a period of time. It takes a long time, and to deal with a lot of uh, unmet needs that you have, and to work it out through. So maybe I'll bring it up in the conversation later on. But yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much. Uh, let's talk about the next scenario. There is this man. Okay. He is very successful in his work. And, one day he has this business pitch, and he gives his best, makes the business pitch, but he does not land the contract. Okay. So he goes back home and he criticizes himself, and he's very stressful. He does not get a good night's sleep, and he's very angry with himself. Okay, so after a few days, he has another pitch. He goes to the pitch, he gives his best. He does not get the contract then also. But when he comes back home, he tells himself that it was a tough situation. And when, he tells himself that he doesn't feel that tensed, he sleeps peacefully, and he gets up fresh and he goes for his regular job. Okay, so it is a similar situation, but two different approach if you compare it. Okay, so my question to you is, how does kind thoughts, okay, having kind thoughts, does it calm the nervous system quickly? Okay, and if you could share any micro practice for our viewers, which they can use when they are in a fight or flight kind of a situation.
Research it shows that kind thoughts, it really
Mm,
calms down the nervous system. It signals the brain safety and
okay.
triggers its sympathetic mind and the body.
Mm,
Positive self-talk that you have about yourself, that everything will be fine, everything is okay, everything will go better. I think that mimics as social cue of hugging yourself, and which
okay.
triggers this oxytocin release. And at the same time, this parasympathetic rest and digest this response, it lowers the heart rate. It also reduces the blood pressure and ease out
Mm,
the stress hormone, which is cortisol. So all this happens through neurochemical dynamics in a very short few seconds. And the thoughts which, yeah, and it overrides that fight and flight mode. And at the same time, this the thoughts which is very much directly linked uh, to that of the vagus nervous activity. So all this promotes towards emotion regulation and also the sense of well-being. So obviously, it does, as the research says, that it does calms down, and it does overall the nervous system. It comes down and enables you to override this fight and flight mode. Practice, yes. In our family, we always have this, which is everything that is happening at the moment, this too shall pass. So this is a very common phrase, but then when you really understand it and feel the words of this phrase, and you also feel that, yeah, this is not the end of the world. So that is also one that you can repeat to yourself, that this shall pass. Take a deep breath, take a short walk. These are the things that you can do immediately in order uh, to really work out your ease out your nervous system. Keep reminding yourself that, am I reacting or am I responding? So when you take a pause and consider this, then you make a mindful choice that, okay, let me respond to it and not react to it. So that saves you from a lot of spiral, emotional upheaval.
Basically, trying to be in that moment and not, thinking ahead. Okay.
Absolutely.
So got your point. Now let's come to the next scenario. Okay. So there is this girl, okay,
Mm,
who since her childhood was always nitpicked. You are not good looking, you are not good in studies, you are not good in this, you are not good in that. Okay. And nobody will like you. And it happened for a very long time till the time she became an adult. So in the
mm,
process, what happened is she started accepting, okay, she started believing in those harsh words that was told to her. So every time, she became a very irritable person. She became, she developed jealousy. She started overthinking. Every time she got into a relationship, she would break the relationship before anything bad was even, you know, uh, was not something that was not even in the cards. Out of fear, she would break the relationships. So what happened? She went to the court. Okay. And the coach told her, like, judging yourself with the same lens as the world is judging you is not right. You know,
mm,
that kind of changed her perspective, and she started following self compassion. and she started giving more to the relationships, okay, and became a
Mm.
better person. So tell me something. How does, self criticism, okay, becomes a part of your personality? You become irritable. There is jealousy and overthinking. And why does, people who practice self compassion, others feel that, it is insecure?
Criticism itself is a manifestation, manifests itself into um, it manifests itself into irritability and a very inner judge that constantly judge you, and this happens more so when you are very harsh on yourself. Your self-talk is very harsh,
Mm.
and where your tolerance is triggered by the outside and internalized ideals, which constantly uh, enables you to have very um, unhealthy comparison, self-comparison. So pause and to ask ourselves as to whether the voice is that of the criticism speaking. Is it the criticism speaking to you? Am I safe? These are the words that one can ask, and replace judgment with kindness instead of judging ourselves more and having this very harsh self-talk. We can replace with uh, kind, with kindness. This, I think, one can also have a personal journal, and write down
Journaling.
as to, yes, as to what is triggering this kind of thoughts.
Okay. So this, like, if you continuously journal and if you write what triggers those thoughts, it becomes easier for you to identify and then, as you said, respond better and not react, right?
And instead of, this is more of a judgmental, you're judging yourself, or you are constantly telling yourself this, harsh on yourself. So this constant self-talk of self-criticism and this unhealthy, this internalized and ideals that plays up with you, that cause you, evokes that jealousy. All this, unless you are pausing and taking into account of what exactly is triggering this kind of emotion, you will not be able to really work it out on it and understand how to move to the next in this
Level.
healing. So, right.
Okay. Coming
So
to the
with
last
only
part.
the journal, when you do a journaling, then it gives you that idea, it gives you that understanding of, where you're moving, where you're heading, and what is it that is really making you behave or react in this manner.
Okay. Thank you so much. Coming to the last part of the discussion. Okay. Another scenario. There is a musician, very gifted one. Okay. What used to happen is every time he was facing a rejection,
Mm,
he was not been able to handle. To come back to his normal self, he would take normal creative self. He would take, weeks, sometimes months. Okay, so
mm,
over a period of time, he started practicing self compassion or self kindness. So
mm,
every time there was a rejection, he would bounce back to his normal creative self very quickly.
mm,
Self, it kind of, the self kindness that he practiced on himself, it turned into resilience, and resilience
mm,
turned into confidence for him, and he felt
mm,
that life was no longer attacking him. Okay,
mm.
so my question to you is, how does self compassion helps us bounce back faster from a failure? Okay, and how do we stop taking everything personally and grow a very thick skin as far as the outside world is concerned and what they are saying?
I think we can move from we can bounce back faster by replacing self-criticism with kindness again, and also um, understanding this emotion, this feeling that you have, and foster, that growth mindset. I think that is very important. And then all this, when you also feel that it's not only you which it's not only happening to you, that you're not only the one going through it, and many have also gone through it. It's a shared experience, human experience of suffering. Then you don't feel the shame anymore.
Mm.
And, it also prevents the emotional spiral of self-judgment. So when you practice this self-compassion, then it helps you faster recovery. Perfectionism, it counters the kindness, the self-compassion that you have. It counters perfectionism, and it also allows you to reframe failures as a kind of learning opportunity.
So what does one do practically? As you said that one should have this growth, if I'm right, growth mindset. So what do I do practically so that I develop this growth mindset, or every time I'm feeling down or somebody's criticizing me, I know I need to practice this and I will be able to come out of this vicious circle.
I believe it's more, if we have to see in a practical aspect of it, then it's more to tell yourself that, yes, this is hard, but suffering is also part of, this life, and having that compassion to embrace it and accept that, yes, it's part of it, that acceptance, and it's not only me, and to tell yourself, reaffirm yourself that I need to be kind to myself, uh, and also to, practically list out the lessons that you constantly learn, so again, the journaling as to how and what you need to, recover from. I think it's very important to list down those, write it down, and constantly work on those. So every day you can pick up one topic and write it down, and then understand that why, where, this is coming up from, and how can I, make it work in my favor.
Okay.
So when you,
So
yes.
I don't know if I have to sum up our conversation. Okay, what I've realized talking to you is practicing kindness to your own self is not a rocket science. It is very, very simple. You have to do certain things. First, understanding that though self compassion and self kindness are two different things, but there is a very thin line between them, where compassion is more about accepting, embracing the warmth that is around, uh, you know uh, being more gentle to yourself on a day-to-day life. Kindness is more towards not being critical to yourself. Okay. There
Mm.
is how one can what do I say? What does one do on a regular basis to practice this? Is through acceptance. Okay, to have kind thoughts. Once you have kind thoughts, it kind of signals the message of safety to your entire body, and which spirals to many things like a good night's sleep, a good digestion, releasing of positive, what do I say, hormones or chemicals in your mind, which impacts the entire thing. Okay, your mind and body. Next is, accepting the fact that there is happiness and there is suffering in the world. If there is happiness, it is not permanent, and if there is sufferings, this shall pass too. If you keep telling us and that we are not the only one, there are others also who are in the same suffering, what do I say, cycle, okay, and people will come out of it. This shall pass too. Practically, what I can do, I can take
Mm.
some exercise, I can take a short walk, and as I told you, be in that moment, feel what I can immediately feel. Okay. Another thing that really helps is by journaling. If I keep on writing my feelings about what triggered a bad experience, okay, by constantly writing about it, I learn the main part, okay, as to why I reacted the certain way, okay. By journaling, I learn the triggers, and if I know what my triggers are, I will respond instead of reacting. Okay. And practice kindness and growth mindset, as you said, knowing that you are not the only one, and there is no shame in that. Shame is a big factor, as you mentioned, and list out all the learnings through the journaling. So have I missed out on any point, Arano?
No, you have, clearly taken into everything account. What I want
To
to
wrap up
add
a
is,
little faster because we are running out of time.
hmm, okay.
Yeah.
So what I want to add in that is, when you talk about self-kindness, it's more of a day-to-day, that you're more gentle and forgiving to yourself. At the same time, when you're talking about self-compassion, it's more of a deeper way where you encompass care and concern for yourself, and
Hmm.
also extend that to elevate suffering of others. So perhaps that's also one of the reasons why I became a life coach. So, and this process can only be possible when you open yourself to your history of unmet compassions, your history of unmet love, your history of unmet, you know, uh, those areas where you feel that as a child you were deprived, or in the
Hmm.
past where you experience which things which are not comfortable, which are still manifested in your life, and it's showing up in a different way. I think it opened doors. When you talk about self-compassion to yourself, it opened doors to understanding your whole history. And so which means that you go backward and understand each and every step and level every emotion and read every emotion, understand every emotion, and then come to a point where you forgive completely. But then at the same time, you'll be left also with a lot of questions which are unanswered. So these
Got your
unanswered
point.
questions, yeah. So these
That
unanswered questions, I think it leads you to a divine intervention where you are
yeah,
more, seeking a spiritual divineness in your life, a personal relationship with God, more deeper,
and
because
it
those
will not happen
unanswered,
immediately. It will take
yes,
some
those
time. It will happen over a
right,
period
those
of time.
unanswered questions will always be there, and it'll continue to, trigger. It'll continue to have this inner critic, unresolved inner critic. So this, in a way, would help you to really completely lay rest on the, your, belief, your faith, your God, and then work on yourself, to understand that now you have that capacity to be able to give this care and love and compassion as you do to yourself. As you're compassionate to yourself, you'll be able to share this self-compassion, this compassion to others as well, because then you'll be able to understand the sufferings as well. So when everything all together put together, I think it's it's beautiful to embrace this self-kindness on a daily basis. At the same time, go into deeper introspection of yourself by using this self-compassion and practice it in a daily life and make it a way of life for you. So that's what I have to say. And always, inhale peace, exhale criticism, and take one step at a time.
Thank you so much, Arano. This was a wonderful session. I'm sure we will have many more like this. Because of the technical glitch, we had to shift to this mode. We will be uploading this on Facebook and Instagram for our viewers to see it and learn. If there are any questions, I will definitely pass it on to you in the comments box, and you will also be able to see it. Thank you so much, Arano,
All right.
for sharing your
Thank you.
insight. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.